Alright, so we're checking out another new 5-inch bind and fly quad from HGLRC. So this one here is the Sector5 V4, and this is the X5 version. So X5 means it has a true X frame. The other version of the frame is a D5 version, which is a dead cat style frame, which I don't have. They'll send me that frame at some point later, and I'll probably put together and show it to you on my Instagram. But essentially it's the same frame, but instead of the true X style frame format here, you'll have a dead cat style. So probably the arms are going to be the arm point's going to be a little bit more forward, and it's probably going to have like a longer arm in the back that goes a little bit further back here, and then this front arm is going to be a little bit further back, but also further out to the side, so that the FPV cameras don't see the props in view. That's the main purpose of the dead cat style. But again, I don't even know what that looks like. They haven't sent it to me yet. Other than that, pretty standard 5-inch frame here. You have some aluminum standoffs here, or it's a cage for the front here for the camera. In this case, it's a CADX Ratel 2. Pretty nice. It kind of looks like an S there. Maybe that's for the name Sector 5. So interesting design there. You got your standard, it looks like staggered frame. So the front of the bottom plate here is from the camera side to the sandwiching the bottom of the arms, and then the back side of the bottom plate here is on the top side of the sandwich of the arms and extending back. So this is the more modern 5-inch design these days. The motors here are pretty big and beefy. So we have some 2306.5 2550 kV motors. So this is obviously flew on a 4S setup here with this 4S 1300 battery. It also comes in a 6S kV if you want the 6S version instead. Got your GPS here in the back. I believe the previous version of the Sector 5 also had a GPS, and the also this one did not come set up out of the box. So if you want to see how to set this up, it's going to be fairly similar to the way the previous version was set up. So I'll link that video in the video description, and I'm not going to go over the same things all over again. For a slightly updated model, you can go and look at that video and make the modifications to this model and get your GPS rescue going if you want to do that. But I like that the GPS is up here. It's behind this little holder that holds the XT60 in place, which is pretty nice. So basically when you plug it in, you have a single place for the battery to plug in instead of it kind of going all over the place. Got a little mount here for your hammer antenna, plus the receiver antenna goes back here as well, and it is TPU, so if you happen to knock the antenna, it's not going to snap off. And then the receiver on this one is a 2.4 gigahertz, the HGLRC Hermes Express LRS receiver is buried inside there. And you can see here we have these covers, and this is just like elastic bands that go around the standoffs that basically protect the stack and the VTX from rocks and stuff that might get thrown in by the props. And so just slide this down here. You see it is elastic, so it's going to probably wear out over time. So they do give you a spare set in the box if you want to replace them, but I think something like this will do the job in terms of protecting the inside. You got an F7 20x20 stack there. It's like an F7 22 Mini, a BLHeli S ESC 45 amps, and also that's also a 20 millimeter part. So the whole stack is on is basically a 20x20 stack. And then in the back is, I think, a larger 30x30. I think it's I forget, it's like a Zeus 800 VTX, I believe, 800 milliwatt video transmitter. Of course, this is analog with the CADX Ratel 2 in the front. And then, yeah, on the bottom here, you can see that this stack area could take a 30x30 stack, but they elected to go with the 20x20 in this particular case. And the arms here are your standard, 5 millimeter type arms. For the HD camera, I did go with the Session 5. I kind of broke out this guy from I guess it's been sitting around for a while. I haven't used this camera in a long time because I did try out stabilizing the footage with gyroflow. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of that in the comments section if you thought that it was any good. It's okay. You have to do a lot of low pass noise filtering if you have this model, because the gyro on the Session 5 is a little bit noisy, so I think I used like 0.25 hertz or something like that. Pretty low value to get rid of the noise so that you could actually do some stabilization, but it looked okay. Not real steady go quality, but I think they're still working on the software. Battery I'm using here is a 1300 4S. That's the recommended size. I think that's on the low end. The high end's like 1550 4S. I don't have the 6S version, so I'm not 100% sure what they're recommending, but probably something in the 1300 to 1500 6S is going to be about right. But with these really large motors and this whole setup here, this is quite heavy. All right, so this is the all-up flying weight. Everything on here is about 675 grams. Okay, so not that bad because I'm running a Session 5, so let's go ahead and pull these out. Getting rid of the camera and the battery. Just the weight of the drone by itself, we're running about 436.9 grams, so I'd say about average for around a 2306 size motor. So we'll go right into the flight footage, and basically in a nutshell, you'll hear all my thoughts, of course, but in a nutshell, it doesn't really surprise me as to how it flies. It's got plenty of power for a 2306 motor. What did surprise me a little bit is that it did come with a PID tune out of the box, which usually HGLRC doesn't do. They just give you like default PIDs usually. You have to kind of figure it out on your own. So it looks like they've gotten some pilots now that are putting together some PID tunes, and this one seems to be okay. I think on the 1300 it's a little on the loose side. Maybe it's a little bit light for the tune. So I would suggest if you want to bump up the weight, either go with a bigger camera like the Hero 8 or Hero 10 for your HD camera, and or go over the bigger battery like a 1550. I think the tune is probably going to be better for a little bit of a heavier setup. Of course, you know, when you're flying it does feel heavy because of all that extra weight, but the motors can definitely handle the extra weight no problem. Anyway, here's the flight footage. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. So got a lot of wind right now. I'm flying totally stock, PIDs and rates, everything. Just gonna get a feel for it. It's a little on the heavy side, even with the Session 5 on here. But if you give it a little throttle, it's got a lot of power. 2306.5 motors. Plenty of kV. I'm running a 1300 4S, so not sure how long the flight's going to be. I'm already at 3.9 volts. Wow, that wind's pushing me around. Whoa, look at that punch out. Oh, wow. I really need to find a bigger place to fly. You know, when the wind's getting worse. We're going to do a proper power loop here. There we go. A little high. It's super floaty when I drop the throttle. So the tune is decent. Usually HGLRC, they don't make the best tunes. It's a little, I don't know, I would say the stick response rate's a little high for my taste. But that can be adjusted. That's a feel thing. But the tune in terms of oscillations and stuff seems okay in this wind. I'm getting a little battery warning already. So how long have I been flying for? Like a couple minutes. Probably want to go with the 1550 instead of a 1300. Especially if you're going to be doing a lot of freestyle, maybe you can squeeze about 3 or 3.5 minutes with a little bit bigger battery. Yeah, the battery is just about dead here. I'm going to try and squeeze out another minute here with just kind of casual flying. Well, the battery's actually holding up. This is a graphene battery, so it's going to hold its voltage until the very, very end. .4. That wind. All right, bring it on in here. 3.5 volts per cell. Let me know what you guys think.